And the four devils were for yesterday. I left them there. Good morning, everybody. You weren't here in the morning, I guess. I don't know if you were here at the open yesterday. Anyway, yeah, they were there yesterday. Figured I'd give a little humor to the intro. The devils were had their way over the last few days. So, is it over? Hell no. Maybe the worst is over. I don't know. Anyway, we always look at where we're at within the trend between support and resistance. Is there a void? Where are the reference points where buyers will step up? And as we look at different indices, we see if things match, if they're in opposition of each other, is one at a reference point of support, another not, and intraday timeframes. So I started with the Dow, which was seriously underperforming. Is just really a giant mess. There you have it in the middle of the year, down, up, chop, 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 tails, overlapping bars, and off to the races. Igniting bar, ending bar, and now taking the elevator back down again. Down below the 20, down below the 50, down below the 20 on the weekly, which is down below the 100 on the daily. And it certainly looks like it's going to come down here to this major support level, the 200 MA. Doesn't mean today. This means that's a likely place. It's on to some support. It did have a breakout and a failure. Back here where it cleared 40,000 on a closing basis, the thinking was, hey, maybe it goes sideways and up and away. Well, no, it was a failure pattern. And my little drawings here, we were talking about head and shoulders tops and necklines, and it goes up, and well, just a big, big, big corrective sideways that winds up failing on the breakout. All right, other markets, transports, back down to the bottom of the range. And, back here was like, will it falter down all the way down to here and top of the range, bottom of the range? Just a giant overlapping mess of indecision. And it is what it is. And so what is the takeaway from something like this for those of you that are new? Well, and to how we do things here is that this is a type of chart to stay away from. Could be good for call spreads, it could be good for put spreads, it could be good for iron condors, but it's not a directional type of a pattern. So if you're a directional type of trader, which I gravitate toward primarily, this is not what I'm interested in. If you're a credit spread trader, this is heaven. And I can remember, I think it was last year, Dan would probably remember best. It's like for directional swing traders, we were kind of, in starvation mode. And, if it wasn't for the credit spreads, it would have been pretty tough going, for a while. And now, there's always day trades, but in a market that is directionless, swing trades become quite difficult. So there's a picture that is not for swing trades. Shoot, I got a little behind schedule here. Let me look at this SPX. Let me see where the spiders are at. Yes, I looked. They zero these things out here. All right, so I know earlier last night, this was up near the high. Now, not too far off of the high. You can see my cursor there on the daily chart, the little X, and where it is on the 5-minute there. So in the middle of the range, things gapped down big, was a big percentage gap, came back up, backing off. And so this is going to need more time to digest its extension from the high. I just marked off here, that's about a 10% decline. If it gets down to the 200, obviously it'll be a bit more, or whether it can chop around here for a while. You can see the unfilled gap there. So again, just eyeballing where this is at. So when I look at SPX, let's call it in the upper third. So upper third, I want to put my little line right here as to where that is. And I'm just looking at something else here. Well, yesterday, remember I spoke about ranges and being aware of ranges. And if you normally trade something on a regular basis, the range is being bigger, and you need to make adjustments to your share sizing, based on the size of the stop for the same 5-minute chart or daily chart or what have you. So some time ago, the day-to-day ranges in SPX were around 35, 40 points, give or take. Now they're at 146 points. All right, so how far away can we get? Let's just go here on the put side. See, and I look for about $1. So 10.50 yesterday. I mean, it was down here. It was crazy, but the spreads were big. 10.50. It was still so far away. It was just highly unlikely it was ever going to get there. All right. So, all right, we got a put side. Let's look at a call side here. $40, $53.45. So inevitably they had to come down, but yesterday's little contraction in ranges, settling down a bit. So, 43.50, 43.50, 43.45. Let's see where that puts us. Okay, so we're here where the blue line is, and so we're a nice distance away. And how many points is that? 500 and let's call it around 5,000. So we're outside the range. We're outside the range. There's an unfilled gap there. There's an unfilled gap over here. Take your pick. I'm not going to get to either one today. Any news coming out at 10 o'clock? Honestly, I didn't check the news. Just, you always got to look at that to see if something to be aware of at 10 o'clock. I'm sure someone has. Let's see. Still not acclimated on this. Some news. All right. So you always got to be aware of that. But the initial direction as prices go in the morning, sometimes you get a little bit lower. Anything around 5,000 has got to be a no-brainer. And remember, it's got to go through 5,100, which is going to be support and the unfilled gap. And I use the analogy of where are our lines of defense when we talk about credit spreads. What is likely to stop prices from moving in one direction or another? And that is whole numbers, right? So 5,100, 5,200 is right there. So not much there, but minor support, minor resistance, unfilled gaps, moving averages, and anything that you might want to use that's a bit, mystery indicators or whatever you might want to call it. Your 50 MA is way up there, so it's never getting up there in the short term. So I think it's pretty far away, All right. Other things. Let's look at the futures. Let's look at interest rates. The interest rates are up here a little bit this morning. They got extended to the downside. Prices move too far, too fast, and that's what they do. Look to the left. They're on some support here. So this isn't over. It's just extended. It's going to take a little time for everybody to kind of figure out, is there going to the next shoe to drop? When is it going to drop? How far can we get for a counter trend trade? Create some support or resistance. you know, need a little more information. That's the bottom line. I think this probably is up a little bit, but that came a lot off of the lows. That's interesting. Didn't look at that yesterday, but that's a big move off of the low. So that kind of puts a crimp in the idea, I think, just based on this chart, a crimp in the idea that the Fed's going to come to the rescue in the short term. They're thinking, oh, things are so dire, they're dropping here. The Fed will come and do a rate cut before the meeting. Maybe they will. Maybe then, you get another drop. It's just something you got to keep in mind. Um, Certainly, people are thinking about it. Right. Russell, you know, collapse down there to major support, bottom of the range. Happy days, depression, schizo, a little backing and filling going on here. Nothing decisive in the patterns. YM backed off quite a bit. Looking at the 65-minute here, just, a trading range. These pivots are so important to your just objective analysis, to recognize that, especially when something comes down as it did, as it forms a pivot low, that creates support, retests of that area, buyers are going to be there. Then you see your candle pattern that forms. As it's moving up, pivot high, creates resistance, retests of that, likely to be some, sellers there. And then, so you see how it acts, what it's going to do there. Do you get breakout failures, where prices are likely to retrace or not? So here you can see this rejection, we're backed off. We'll see where it closes the day, see where it's falling. It's coming into a pivot. Suggests there'll be buyers there. You can see the pivot on here. We got a wide range bar, where if it was bullish, it would have stayed in the top of the range, then would have attacked these pivots. And then we would see, if it held this wide range bar, excuse me, like with a 1, 2, 3 and came up here, this would have guided our thoughts to it going up. And now it's backing off and trading range back and forth. So in the middle of the range, don't do anything. We'll see how this closes. Collapsing right down to major support where the pivots are. We looked at this yesterday, and pre-market moved up at resistance, backing off, kind of middle in the range. Does it hold here, or do we get a measured move down? Prices being extended as far as they are, it leads me to believe that in the short term, today, the downside is limited. Again, you need to see things develop here. More information to get a stronger bias. And right now, things are extended lower. In this market, they're on major support, and they're likely to be stable, maybe just erratic. S&Ps, come down here. It's on support. Moving average. It's the futures contract. It's not SPX, but we do look at moving averages on these. They're just less likely to be that potent a reference point as opposed to looking at spiders or SPX. Because why? Because the majority of the world is looking at SPX as a guidance as to where support and resistance is. And so just chopping around here. Look at the little breakout failure. This is a nice little pattern here. If you're, intraday trading and you see patterns like that one right there, that is something that you would want to focus on. That Bitcoin has been all over the place. That got whacked yesterday too. And, just a lot of choppy price action wherever we look. Gold, I don't know. I really don't know as far as the daily charts go and weekly charts go, as to, any situations right now that look attractive. There's a few stocks that we've come across, but just the patterns, just such erratic price action. We just have to as I said, gather a little more information to get greater potential or odds of putting the odds on our favor right now. There's just too much uncertainty. It's on support. So, okay, so closer to the 200, pivot low right there. Maybe it comes down here. We'll see, maybe tomorrow if this begins to hold in that area. There's not anything attractive there right now. Now, semiconductors, which were leading the way up, and they led the way down on this major support here on the weekly chart. They had a decent day yesterday. Where are they at here as far as my cursor? Near the top of the range. So the 65-minute really, it doesn't have anything yet. I like the wide range bar on the daily and on the 65-minute. It's, prices are up there at the top. You know what? Just normally after a wide range bar, the factory work suggests the historical patterns suggest a narrow range day, especially after something like this. And I think people are just going to want to see things settle down before they start committing in a bigger way. But look, institutions that believe that some of these stocks that have collapsed like this, they'll buy the dip. And that's what we'll be looking for when the dip gets bought. Does it form a bottoming tail bar? Does it gap down and form a green bar? That's the kind of information we're looking for. When I say that we need more information, that's what we're looking for. Mid caps, same thing. Yeah, all the charts are broken with that volatility, financials, just pretty wild. It also displays shock. And that's what it is. Sometimes we talk about shock bars. Well, this is, shock patterns, shock charts. Um, everybody's thinking one way. 2 weeks later, they're thinking the other way. It's insanity, basically. Yeah. All right. And that's basically the takeaway here. Euro, came way back up. Yen was up there. Dollar came down and things are stabilizing. So, keep the powder dry and, we all see what's going on here. Let things settle down as far as the swings go, but it'll take a little time. Well, yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, this is a perfect open that we talked about yesterday, which was, hey, just give me a narrow range. And then 30-minute high, we'll go continue our put selling spree. With the VIX like this, as Greg said, it's just a fabulous time to sell puts when you get a bullish pattern. And so at the same time, particularly with VIX skyrocketing like this, we sell out of the money naked calls because this has perpetual contango because of the way they roll the futures. So that's, I call this whack-a-mole. When it goes up and reverses, short it. So we sold the 120s yesterday and we closed them at 75 cents at the low. And then into the afternoon rally, we put the identical trade on for $4 with the gap down. We're going to have a beautiful, huge open gain at the open. I just had an alarm on not Starbucks, Schwab go off. I was watching this for a double bottom. I'm up a little bit. I wouldn't touch it here. I always have early alarms, but that's worth watching. 30-minute high. I'll set the up alarm again at 63 now. We had an alarm on THC go off. No, thanks, Don. Yeah, somebody sent that to me. I did that at the money show. All right, so this is a buy setup. There were so many. This one's still in an uptrend on the 50. So this one is much, much stronger than than the majority of things out there that are here. Let me compare it to, not cream, arm and crowd. There's so many things, and the size of the reversal bar in connection with the overall pattern support, etc. These are the ones we're focusing on. So we got naked puts on cream, crowd, IWM. So so Google lost an antitrust suit, and I saw it down $8 earlier. Now it's opening flat, but see, when I was talking about the magnitude of the bar yesterday, this is a big topping tail. So, as Greg and I were talking last night about how aggressive to be here today, because I agree. This is not this is a put selling environment, but look now, the gap up and a buy setup. Um, so far, it's setting up for a beautiful day trade long and more put spreads, but it needs to hold right here. BLD. I don't see any gaps done. I don't trust gaps unless they're liquid. So look at Apple down. I don't know why. My only guess is it's somewhat related to the Google antitrust. Maybe they're next or something, or maybe there's something related, is my guess. All right. I This is the Russell 600 held support here. See the size of the bar on the 200 support. So these are things that are perfect for put spreads. CMG it's kind of a weird W bottom, new low plus, but over yesterday's high. The hope would be that it would go through this and then avoid and maybe target 5650. Marvel, see these gap reversals are all over the place. So these are all put spread ideas. Coin, I look, but with all the volatility so high, it's hard to get a good midpoint if you're doing a spread. So that's why I did a bunch of nakeds yesterday. RCL, this looks great. See the range expansion green bar happened on the 200 with rising 200. This would have been a fabulous setup for a put spread, but the spreads were ridiculous, like 0 by $3, something retarded. Zoom Z, I got an alarm at 22. That's been how many stocks do you see out there with a rising 20, 50, 200 with it at the rising 20? Greg mentioned this to me, has earnings in 2 days, but it has massive put premium. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, maybe doing some to make it 650s. All right, TSM, we have a put spread. There is one we did yesterday. And we did something like the 115s. It was crazy juice yesterday. So I was very active yesterday because these are the perfect moments. Yesterday was. Today I'm going to start neutral. Like I said, 30-minute high, I'll start getting more aggressive. But yesterday was a phenomenal day. All right, let's look at earnings here. I I deleted a ton of them already. Zulu India gapping down. Possible 30-minute high put spread. Oh, Oscar. Sloppy, but bullish daily, weekly, monthly. I have an alarm up here, 5940. Clove. It's extended intraday, but look at the monthly breakout. That's a watch on a pullback. Yum C. Gap to new low reversal, gap in the 33, gap's excessive though, but on a pullback put spread. Oki, another Climo, gapping over the 15-minute resistance. That's put spread. Remember, these are all earnings, so the premiums will still be jacked. Fang gapping over yesterday's high, 30-minute high, put spread. This gapping down, call spread. Berber, I see one print up here, but as I told Don, I don't trust it. No volume. Car, no interest, power downtrend. RXST. For some reason, bios kind of have recognizable weird symbols. And that sounds like a bio, but that's a pro gap. That is a pro gap. Power downtrend, gapping over, multiple pivots. Let me see if it's a bio. No, medical devices. All right, so that's worth watching. I'll put it in a window. RXST. Alex mentioned Jemiah here to me, gapping down on her earnings. It's an ugly gap under a green bar. He said this is the Amazon of whatever country, India, what'd you say? Visto, another strong one, rising 2050. Look, I don't even see the 200. But by the angle of this 20 on the weekly, that's telling me that the 200 is way the heck down here somewhere. So that is powerful as can be. Let me set an alarm 3880. Yeah, I mean, ask me if you want me to look at anything, because like I said, I deleted a ton of things. NSA, I don't see any prints. Nah. TDC, I have here bottom right in the excessive gap department. Gap in 2550. So that could be a gap and snap put spread, 30-minute high. I see one print up here at 95, but I don't trust it. Simmer. That's a nice, very, very nice, tight 15-minute. This could be a day trade. There's no volume, but nice reversal on the 200. All right, well, I said earlier, Don, there was no volume, so I don't trust it. IIPR is a marijuana REIT. Gap reversal and support. Let's see what that does. Here, I'll just set an alarm at 114 here. I don't see any prints. PRAA, I don't see any prints, but a buy setup, range expansion, HPK, same. Cat. Wow, cat. Yeah, cat. I saw it up like 18 points or whatever. So we'll come back to that. I'll put that in a window. Cat. So they, obviously said something pre-market. Maybe they had an earnings call pre-market. Uber bullish gap, but no pattern. MPC, another Climo, but it broke support. We prefer the ones reversing on support, obviously. This ain't bad. That's not an excessive gap. Seg. BMC, I have as an IIPR. All right, IIPR is a put spread watch, 5-minute high. Oki, day trade idea. The CEG. This looks great. Day trade. I'm not rushing, particularly when I see the spiders, diamonds, IWM crashing here, at the market of crashing on the 5-minute chart. So I I am gonna chill. But this looks fantastic. Um, Sick. Let me check puts on this. Q's holding the best of the 5 minute horseman. There's no weeklies here, but I would do 10 days out. Spreads are ridiculous. 35 by 2.25. So move on for now. VMC, here you go. This is in the excessive gap department. VMC and THC gap down. So I'll just set a new alarm. You know, I read that Schwab had a ton of trading access problems yesterday. I guess I got lucky. I didn't have any problems. But yeah, when markets go crazy wild, so do the exchanges and trading platforms. Right, just from, overload. All right, VMC. All right, same two spreading 70 cents by 320. So, and no rush. Look at this TDC bottom right. That's ugly, but I'll leave it there. A TSM up alarm, nice. Relative strength, semis. Let me set a new low alarm. We have a put spread on this. This had crazy, crazy high premiums yesterday. I could not believe it. Y'all, whoever was trading with us during the COVID days, and we got our cooked internals, it was frigging Santa Claus Christmas time of selling naked puts. Like I remember selling like $40 puts on Disney when it was trading at 130, something like that. Craziness. All right. All right, Q's looking the best here, as I said. SMH, let me look at put spread. This looks great for day trade and put spread. So semis and Qs. Let me look for a 0 DTE on the Qs, but let me check this real quick. That low is 200. Nice even number. $1.40. Let's do $10 wide, 90 cents. And I'm just going to say risk 1-to-1. All right, I'll post these later. I'm busy now. I posted AMD put spread. My alarm has not gone off yet, though. Oh, shit, I just noticed I forgot to post spot yesterday. I will do that. AMD. All right, perfect. I'm going to set a new alarm, 136.40. Wow, that's $4 higher. This thing can move. I'll set it at 135.40 now. right, let's hold off crowd and arm. Arm, you can buy a 5-minute high. Crowd, let's hold off. We're as a directional it is. We're already in it. All right, where was I? Spot. Great dog spot. 3:30. Anthony on YouTube saying Vert is up. Yeah, I got my alarms. I have an alarm at 28:30. Yeah, we bought long calls on that. Nothing to do now. A lot of things getting rejected here, so I'm just in chill mode here. Now, if this looks like this at 10 a.m., then I will consider a put spread. Let me check our VXX. Naked calls. All right, thing the wicked the cues gave it all up here. So things I actually like this. We don't gotta rush. Ah, they open a ton of higher strikes now. Beautiful. And our 120s they really tighten the spreads now. Nice. Um, nice. They're all right, I'm gonna bid a $1.20 to get out. They're 108 by 160. But how? I don't know, because I already have a pending order. I gotta call them on that. All right, I got out instantly at 120. Um, let's um let's just move it. Let's move it over $80. All right, if you'll watch it for me, Alex, I'm a little, when you're comfortable, I'm a little busy here. What's that? Yeah, bid. All right, here we go. All right, arm here, I'm gonna cover half. Um, arm. I gave a foot spread on arm, but I did it naked myself. But some of these I put them, okay, yeah, I did them both letters. So the 90s, 47. Now finally failed at 30. Well, my trade station is slow, my big computer. Why is everyone so quiet? Craig, what are you doing?
I'm sitting here being quiet, watching the video. Maybe it turns into gap fill here, watching to see if cues and spiders find some stabilization in the gap fill.
Yes. Let's move stuff here.
YM looking okay. Not great. It's on some resistance here, but nothing better.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to me, but Diamonds is the only one that doesn't have zero DTEs. But yeah, for day trade is ideal, maybe 30-minute high. Sure, I like it. Let me check Friday puts. 380s. $380, $375 is 61 cents. I mean, I love if it were to close like this, I love it. Question is, it's 9:48. We'll clean this up later. Greg, this has some CI's earnings after the bell. And I put it on yesterday. But I still, even though it's down a little bit, I'm still a third to max profit. I shorted the naked 350s yesterday. Can you believe that? $250 lower. That's craziness. All right, I think I'm gonna bid for it here. Yeah, this Schwab, yeah, I'm having Schwab. Yeah, it's not doing some basic functions here, like change replace orders. It ain't working. All right, took me the money. All right, Alex, you're Jemiah. There's no reversal yet, but yeah, it's right there at the 200. That TDC bottom right, I see is bouncing. That's the gap and snap I mentioned. Jemiah, the spreads are too crazy. 5.5 puts, 5 cents by 40. THC alarm mentioned pre-market. The only thing I don't like is this little bit of a rounding top. But Greg, what do you think of this thing? For it to be in a power uptrend like that is pretty friggin' impressive.
It's tough other than, putting the stop under yesterday's low with the high there. I mean, you can do it. I mean, it's not the ideal. It'd be great if it was like a 1, 2, 3, 4 where it had a little more consolidation. I mean, today isn't even close to being done. So to buy at a steep drop like that, stop under yesterday's low, and you can do like a third position and see what develops.
All right, VXX, low alarm, so this is working great. Yeah, let me go out to next week even. Is that they're totally different. Um, the way they're going to contract, but as long as VIX comes in, wow, there's not as much juice out even for next week. The 120s are 220 by 440, and we sold Fridays for $4 yesterday. But yeah, granted, we did it in the strength. But I think the premium's already starting to suck out of this thing. Um, yeah, look at that. See, you got to strike when the iron's hot. Look at this. Already cut in half, the VIX. Incredible. This is such a whack-a-mole instrument. Wow, the 120s are now 30 by 96. Wow. All right, the 115's 35 by 2.25. I'm gonna put a low offer out at 2.25. See if I get lucky. Order sent. All right, cat. Yeah, it was 61 when I sent it down, and the market's rallying. So of course it's going to be lower. I mean, look at the diamonds. Cat, all right, cat ripped. I said, way the heck down here. I like to. Yeah, I mean, look, the diamonds ripped. So of course they're not going to be 60 cents. All right, SMHs. I like this. I mean, we're already in it, but you can add over the high. I'm not in it, so I will get in it. 200s. I'm gonna do the 195 naked here myself. 88 cents. All right, Kirk didn't fill me. Put me on the offer. So let me lower it. 86, I'll take. Well, diamonds were the strongest one. Crowd still looks great over the high. Um, so 230.27. You can do a half lot over the high. Arm. I got Phil on that naked SMH. BLD. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Got the support. Sure. Yeah, remember you thought it gapped up this morning and I said don't trust it. Yeah, spreads are ridiculous. So just move on. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Move on. If you're looking at put spread. All right, that was a little spurt to 10 a.m. Let's see how it retraces here now. No, Don, you totally misunderstood him. He was talking about my psychological component. And I'll let Alex answer that one. AD line 1200, so monster gap up from the closing negative 2500. Oh, our CMG. CMG. CWJ gap down. I sold a put spread yesterday, but playing with fire with Japan. Our Bert, I got alarms. Arm crowd, Riley, we're short $10 puts into earnings, and that's it. Yeah, not a great pattern. Oh, IIPR, I forgot to look at. That was earnings. Meta and Microsoft. Oh, Greg, I ran out of time yesterday. IIPR is too spready. 25,105. Look at Meta, 15-minute chart. There's a no-brainer put spread. $4.55. Here we go. Gotta do same problem here. 450, 445. That's only 28 cents, but that's a good pattern for it. Uh, I did the 360s, make it myself. Not my style. You're swimming upstream too much. Arm triggered. Right. I mentioned Q's puts, but for Friday it's not too late. Let me check 0 DTE 4.25. 12 cents, so we missed our entry on 0. All right. Um, all right, let's sell the 415 puts. 91 cents. Damn it. Slow order entry. I just missed a trade. Leave it there. I get 90 cents. There, Phil. 91 for the 415s.